Rotterdam, based on your location. My name is Simon Petermas, and we are on Camper What the student representative of University of Liberia. We speak to the press.
The militants and the power troopers, ideologues of the University of Liberia, University, student-based political party at the level of the University of Liberia, Christian institutions, ordinary students, the administration of the University of Liberia, part-timers, and even the government as a whole. As the University of Liberia is a state-run university, we must acknowledge you as well. And to the press that has afforded me this opportunity to make a position statement as a student representative of the University of Liberia to the UN Council. I'm William B. Sandler Jr. under the student interim leadership also. Let me use this time to also recognize the full executive bench of the also leadership headed by Comrade Abdullah J. Lord Tingman, who happens to be the president of also the other executive members. Today is constrained that we must speak on this political power rather than speaking from our office, that which has been normally used, because we want to ensure that the students get the actual purpose of this meeting. And that is why we chose the political power hall, so that they can get the message. And they are aware, or they may be aware of what is unfolding at the level of the University of Liberia in recent time, the other national issue. And we see it as a threat. We see it as a threat. And so as student representative, the media has engaged me to speak on this issue. The first thing what we want to acknowledge is that the University of Liberia has been a ground of student activism and agitation for the welfare of the ordinary students. That's very traditional and the custom and recognized even prior to the existence of other administrators of the University of Liberia. So that cannot be a debate or an exception. You may question the procedure granted, but you cannot question the issue of agitation and protestation on the campuses of the University of Liberia. This to talk about the country at large. But what has been happening at the level of the University of Liberia, it is because the administration, in line with the government of Liberia, whether past and current government, has ignored the forward march and the development, the transformation of the University of Liberia in providing a conducive learning environment for university students. The state, in past time and even now, has ignored and they have not prioritized the University of Liberia. That is why you have seen no more of protestation, agitation, and perturbation on the campuses of the University of Liberia. You can do your history. So it is not limited to the Bogas government or the rescue mission, as they call themselves. To put the government on the record, and you university students and the public that believe that university students, most especially under this leadership that some of us said, has been the most responsible government in terms of student leadership. I will show you this communication July 5th, 2024. Some of you saw on the social media about a year ago when we raised an issue against the government, particularly the president, that he was considered a non-personal neglector to vote on the campuses of the world, that was specifically the University of Liberia, on grounds that his government, since he took over, but then it was around 3-4 months, and people defended that, yeah, and the government just took over. Granted, and we told him that it's so far that you cannot prioritize the University of Liberia. You as president, visitor to the University of Liberia, the student will reject you. It was a debate, it was a concern. And the president invited us. Some of you saw the photos. It was a good thing, bravo to him, but then when we engage him, we deliver all of the challenges that university students were being faced with by past government. We brought it to his attention. And then when we left some propagandists and political miscreants who are benefiting crumbs from the government said, Mr. President gave us money in the tune of 10 to 15,000 US. It was a false, it was misleading. The president that I know, the president that Liberian people know, can never in point in time give such money because of his background. He hailed from not that he, I don't want to say me, but from his background, orientation. Some of us are telling him he's not that kind of person that is free-handed. Probably he can give, or maybe give it on a general purpose. The president will pay our way, and that was around close to 70 to 80,000. Each student dealer came home with 15,000 Liberian dollars. Who gave that money? Because they don't crowd talk back. And some people went on the social media, said the president gave us 15,000 in the name of true propaganda that we have been bought and we have been selling. It's misleading and it's diabolical. That propaganda cannot survive within the youth and student community. We want to trash that out. We want to use this time. We have trashed that on the chat room, on our Facebook pages, and we want to use this public money. And we challenge the seat of the government that they ever gave us 20,000 because to give such an amount, students must sign and the amount should be placed there and we must have evidence. And so we want to challenge the government on that point. So with the meeting that we had, July 5th, 2024, this is the communication, please zoom in. Probably the thing that we are lying and we don't know what we are doing in the youth and student community. You can see there was a copy. Letter of request, dear visitor. Always of the visitor president of the Republic of Liberia, as it said, Joseph Human Bwaga Executive Mansion, July 5th, 2024, reference letter of request. We made a request, all of those things that we said verbally to the president. We reduce it into writing. And that communication was given to the board of trustees. One senator, Dima Batikwa, he took that communication to the president. We spoke of infrastructure development. You are aware, from the days of the past government, the CDC, when it comes to infrastructure, this university have been deplorable. They repaint the building. This to talk about chairs for students to sit on. This to talk about internet facility. This to talk about buses. This to talk about laboratory. This to talk about student exchange program and so forth, scholarship. These were things that we outlined in this communication since July 5th, 2024. It may surprise you, but there has been no response. There has been no engagement since then. July 5th, 2024 to now, you know the amount that we are talking about. The government has not prioritized the University of Liberia. The last budget, something that we have spoken about time without number. The budget that was led by the past government, where the Unity Party rescued government king and took over, it was disbursed. It was being paraded as a means of propaganda or reality on the social media that the University of Liberia received 23.4 million, and they brag about it on the social media. Today, we must do a fair analysis and appreciation of the quote-unquote 23.4 million at the level of the University of Liberia. You university students will be disappointed. Nothing has changed. When Dr. Conta was quizzed, after coming up with a quote-unquote teacher-parent meeting, and we challenging that you have relegated the University of Liberia. There are men and women that attend the University of Liberia. You cannot reduce communication by inviting our parents. We engage in that in the theater there. And a question was posed to him about the account of the 33.4 million. Former acting president is on record that 80% of the money was used on salary. University students, some of you were in our meeting. When I asked him the question, today, part-timers and other students are still asking for the salary. The money was being squandered either by his friends in government or the same government came and collected the money. Because it makes no sense to give a state-run university, a government-owned university, 33.4 million, and there are no armchairs. You are testament to that. There is not politics. There are no armchairs. You cannot even take your ID cards. We'll come to our own contribution we make as students. But as a government, budgetary allotment to the University of Liberia, the buildings are still dilapidated. This is to talk about buses. This is to talk about internet facility. The last time I checked, when the president came to launch the so-called PhD program, that he was being cajoled by authorities of the University of Liberia, which of course, it makes no sense that even the undergraduate program cannot even be compared to global counterparts and you want to have a PhD program. University students stood up, but the government felt that they wanted to show a point or prove a point. They launched that program. Where is that program? It's in their law. And when I saw that they brought 3 cups of paints, you university students were here. They painted the front view of this hall to fool the president. And he came and made whatever statement he had to. There was some agitation for students. The student was arrested and what have you. Going against the PhD program, in their mind that it makes no sense that if the undergraduate program cannot be up to standard. This is to talk about the master program. See the master building? You are aware, you have your friends, your brother, they pay $150 for registration. This is to talk about their fees. They pay more fees than even undergraduate students. But see their buildings. See their building. They don't even have a single computer there. This is the kind of education we find ourselves in. And the government and administration is trying to put up a tendency, a tyrannical tendency against university students, the youth and student community. And that is why we have come to the public guide to send a caveat. This is a unilateral decision, a collective decision. Now, all political parties are student representatives that you cannot use a brute force or intimidation, quote unquote, expulsion, suspension to silence critical voices at the level of the university. No, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. What you need to do is to call these student leaders on the table and adhere to their plights. Today, you distribute thousands of dollars to remove a quote-unquote speaker. You are having a political fight in the midst of poverty, in the faces of ordinary citizens of the country. You are spending millions of dollars, camping in hotels, eating the best of food, riding the best of cars. The university of Liberia and students have no chair to sit on. We are about to take famine. We are about to take famine. The classroom, there's no ventilation at the classroom. Buses, today you have come up with a policy that students pay nothing less than 500 to 1,000 based upon the distance they live to come on campus. No buses. The $50 we used to pay, you have cut off everything. However, university students contribute nothing less than $500,000 every academic year. You will do the mathematics. You have approximately 22 to 23,000 students at the level as enrolled students. Each of these students pay nothing less than $2,550. To the mathematics, times 2,550 times 23,000 students, and multiply it times two semesters. In US, you'll be talking about close to 400,000, close to $500,000. We have done that mathematics. Year and time without number. That is the contribution. And you must do an investigation on that money. Still, nothing has been done in the interest. In that money, students pay for ID card. Students from the days of the CDC and even now under the so-called rescue. Package fee. Back then, even now, you pay. You have close to 22,000 students. You have less than 5,000 to 7,000 chairs. Laboratories, that's the worst thing. Internet, don't even go there. $500,000 as contribution from students. We pay for handbook. Imagine whether you are a senior, sophomore, freshman, and one of you $250 in 2005. The actual registration for university students, let me inform you as per the document. I have the document. I have the document. I'm the custodian of documents for university students. I have the document. I have the document. It is 400, your actual registration that was being announced by the then president, the then government. Your actual registration, that tuition fee, is 400, like right now. But in the minds of administrators, they want and concocted a whole lot of fees that you must pay for breakage fee, student activity, and this and that, the internet, and also all student, all type of things, amounted to $2,550. The bigger question is, when last have you had student activities that you pay nothing less than $250? Sport fee, breakage fee, reconstruction fee, handbook, $250. When last have you received for the past 6, 7, 8, 10 years? Have you received handbook? This is the broad-day corruption that university students are faced with at the level of university abuse. And we have confronted past president, even just common president. Dr. Mapaya is on record. It's on record. Expectation for addressing challenges facing the university abuse. Please look at it. Take it. There's a photocopy. Take it and see the date. Take it and see the date. See who's in there. And you think we are joking here? And you want to use the versionary tactics July 14, 2025. You can, because when the man became president, the first thing we did, the challenges that we did to Mr. President, Mr. Bwaka, we all learned the challenges, expectation that we expect from Dr. Mapaya. We told for only the University of Liberia. We told about the internet facility. We told her about buses. We told her about infrastructure. We told her about how student politics be wrong. All of those things. Today, students are agitating because they believe that the system has not been working. The system is targeting critical voices. And let me say this clear to our comrades. Yes, we are agitating, we are advocating, which will not stop and which will not condemn. But the issue of physical attack on any administrator, we want to use this platform, comrades. That should not be the way path. We have the argument, we have the debate. Insofar you are not satisfied with elements in administration who you believe that have been the masterminds of the backboners of the Republic of Liberia, even if it is Dr. Mapaya, we can call for her resignation or any other resignation of said individual, but not to use physical attack. We want to make that clear as the student representative of the Republic of Liberia to the New York Council. We want to condemn that. And for all of these issues that are being raised, We are going to stand by it. The only mistake that university students have made over time, we have not collaborated, but the time has reached. Insofar the government, the executive wants to melt in the University of Liberia politics because they believe that the University of Liberia politics is the macrocosm, is the hub of national politics. It is this place that determines whether you remain president or you become president. So I believe in my mind that the Burgers regime is being threatened. And so they want to use the C4 that they use on the opposition men. They want to bring that tactics at the University of Liberia. We want to say it would be a clever mistake and dangerous mistake by the government to do so. Because right now we are amalgamating the forces, we are having the conversation. What confronted me most and got me angry as exile, student representative, to make this statement today, I listened to one police press public relation officer who is a female. She's a female. We want to acknowledge female participation, but I know she's doing it on her boss's instruction. But she was very flawed in her analysis. She said that she got intelligent that university students are about to protest, and she was calling upon the public to keep calm. Probably you should stay home, you don't buy your food, you don't go in the market and this and that, or you're supposed to come to school, don't come to school, because they are prepared to confront university students, student radicals. We want to say on this last video, let me show my face, that we are also prepared to confront you, Mr. Bwaka. We are prepared. Right now, men are offended. If you must put your gadgets on, there are over 5 police pick-up offended right now as you speak in the name of confronting student radicals and student militants. We are about to make our way there. If you like, follow me and arrest me. Because if you think that your quote-unquote tyrannical and dictatorial policy you are using to subside critical voices in this republic, it can now be at the level of the student community. Go and read around the world. If there has been any political upheaval, insurrection is imminent for the student community. The student community should be your last place of attack. Insofar we are agitating for the smooth running of the University of Liberia, that up to date, the University of Liberia has now been recognized and prioritized. Part-time instructor you followed few weeks ago or a month ago, it took the consciousness of student leaders who sat with part-timers not to protest, but the guys were about to lay down the church. You are never going to say May 10. We talked to the part-timers. The only thing we did was we told them that we'll make statement on your behalf collectively. That statement was being made. I have that communication here. 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 If I'm not mistaken, I have that communication here. Who did this communication on behalf of university students and part-timers? Lay down the church. You follow. Well, up to now they are taking pay. That's another issue. The University of Liberia is the most corrupt. They have 3 to 4 different payrolls. We have those information to our disposal. They refuse to pay. The little money we pay, they cannot make use of it. Entrance. You are aware the amount of entrances that is normally being provided. They will open the process, more than 15 to 12,000 students will register for entrance. You are aware, your assemblies, your friends will register, they will charge each of them 3,000. Now, for the past 6 years, the nursing did it. This year, whether they are done, either one will stop to it for whatever reason, that's good for her. This is a means of exploiting and denying young comrades from high school to enroll at the University of Liberia. Because the first thing is that the University of Liberia does not have the capacity, the safety capacity, the infrastructure to absorb these high school students. In fact, the University of Liberia should be talking about 50,000 students now, because they refuse They refuse to upgrade the infrastructure. So how can you have 50,000 students? But you open the process as a floodgate to exploit young comrades from high school. 12,000, 15,000 students will save for the entry, only 3,000 they will say pass. And you can do the mathematics when it comes to the financial aspect. These are then the means of enriching themselves. These are then the means of enriching themselves. So in order to have over 50,000 students at Liberia, the government needs to invest in infrastructure, but they are distributing money to remove their colleagues, their own power muggling and power struggling, and forgetting the ordinary student at the level of the Liberia. It is on this note, we have appeared on this live media to send a caveat to the government and to administration. The best way is to have a dialogue with these students. Call them, these students, what are the issues? And with the documents being presented, it tells you that we have been having dialogue, we have been having engagement. But those dialogues and engagement have not been fruitful. The government and administration are reneged to address these plans. And that is why you normally see constant protestation on the campuses of Liberia. And student radicals might not relent until, in fact, there will be a meeting today. If we cannot see over 15,000 armchairs here from now to the 12th, that they said there will be May 10. University students must resist. And the reason why you must resist, because obviously you are going to sit on the floor to take your May 10. Why the guys are distributing thousands of dollars, and the government, who has the full responsibility as per the act that created Liberia, to fully fund the Liberia, needs to talk about the little fees. The semester just about to end 2,550. If you do the mathematics, it is close to 250,000 US. Ask them, why have they done with the 2,500 and 2,550,000? Or 250,000 US. How have they done with it? 250,000 can buy you chairs. But they are spending that money. You ask them, I challenge the University people, you bring any other time, to ask them the money that we just paid for the past 4 months, 2,550, 2,550, times 23,000 students, you do the mathematics, is around close to 250,000 US or 300,000 US. They can't buy you chairs. Why? That is the argument. And that is the argument we are about to bring forth to the doors of administrators and the government. And you think you can intimidate our police, you want to run a police state? We are prepared. We are prepared as militants, as radicals, and student leaders of the Liberia. Coming President, that is why you guys asked me, and I said, oh yes, we can speak to the issue, and if any questions you can ask them. And now we are.
Thank you. Over recent time, my name is Christopher. There are a lot of things that have been happening. The president of the University of Liberia has frowned seriously on academic fraud. Okay. And you are cognizant of that.
Granted.
And that issue had to do with one Mr. Doug Cooper, who was allegedly involved into academic fraud. And that which prompted the president to launch an investigation. And upon that investigation, 8 persons was dismissed. Okay. Now, you're not speaking to that particular issue throughout your presentation. Okay. Now, follow up to that. The campus-based, there are too many campus-based political parties on the campus of the University of Liberia who have been engaging into too many protestations, particularly with the Liberia National Police, in extension when it comes to road blocking. Okay. Now, representing the student on the campus of the University of Liberia, what have been your own engagement with this political party, telling them to be calm, more remorse, and that of restraining themselves when it comes to Afro cases? My last question, I can just answer that too, and then I will come up with the last question.
Thank you. With the issue of Doug Cooper, it's quite unfortunate that some of you journalists will try to be, maybe you want balance or you want to be critical or so forth. But you are aware that it has been the student community that have raised, that have put pressure on administration and government. There have been student radicals from political parties that have engaged the officers of Doug Cooper, even the government administration. Has the government adhered to talk about resignation. We say no. They went with a mere propaganda that he has resigned. How do people resign? It must be on imagine, it must be a communication. You haven't seen. But that is the national politics aspect of it. We know the kind of government that is in power. But the issue of the administration, whether we spoke, how do we see it? Obviously, it is the authority of the university to do so for her best interest, especially this kind of president that we have. And that's what we told her. The audit that we spoke about, it falls in line with that academic for credential and while a few financial. So she has focused on academic fraud. Granted, she has achieved. She went through the investigation and 8 persons were dismissed. Granted. But the man who came and stole your attention to the government. Why are they a recommendation to the government as an administration? That man should be prosecuted. That man should be prosecuted. But we understand. We understand that university is a state-run university. We are students of politics. We understand they will not speak to that angle. And one of the people that can speak to that angle is the student radical and student militant. And very soon, we are trying to authenticate the so-called and purported resignation of Don Cooper. And it is not factual. Don Cooper will resign by force, by fire, and by all means. What's the force? Since the government has opened a war drum against the student community, my only frustration here is that, quote unquote, what they will see as an attack on Lisu, is that's my disappointment. And we have our friends there, come Washington. We told him when he allowed for Mr. Braga to making a puppet to stay on his advisory board as a student radical, a student militant, it has never happened in our history. Today, President Washington cannot speak, but you know the firebrands and political party in this country for the past, whether 70, the suit 1970, the post 2015. Those two political parties can lock down the country and get the government. We don't need Lisu because we know Lisu has been bought. We have our militants there, and very soon we'll call all of our militants for Lisu. And President Washington will stay alone. The conversation is on because that's the debate to listen to the purported press person challenging the student community that they are prepared. The all citizens must go indoor, they must like their business. We are also ready to confront the government. So that's the issue. That the Mapaya good thing. The next thing is that the issue of the audit. We thought that the Mapaya that for the past 6 years and now over 20 million Liberians were being funded by the student community on issue and other activities fees here. We told her that we needed that money. We had a press conference. The document is here. You know what she told her? Or because we didn't bring her to the public, she said it was not under her leadership. She cannot do anything of it. You are an administrator. You talk about government is continuity. These are normal things to say. So what you need to do, those who presided over this funding and squandered the student money of over 10 million Liberian dollars, you must bring them the book and let her bring the fact. And make sure that money be given back to the students. But you say it was not under your leadership. The only one that you can come from is the one that you presiding on. All of these things will be discussed. And the red line has been doomed. The red line has been doomed.
So how does your advocacy reconcile with roadblockings and stopping other people movements?
Okay.
I mean, we're talking about the political parties on the university campus.
Granted. The issue of roadblocking, it may be condemned today. It's a fact you cannot continue to do.
This is something you have never condemned as a student representative.
Who told you that? I over the years, I have been active student politics.
That wasn't mentioned.
No, wait now, come here. I have been active student politics over the years when I was chairman of POSA. Yes, I did Black Road. I advocated and engaged the government. Today, all of these are yesterday penalty for free tuition. It is on our sweat and blood. Our education was being threatened, was being suspended. Today, people brag on us overstaying at the university. You know the political consequences that student leader goes through. They will not take gun and shoot us, but academically they will come after us. Instructors will deal with us, administration will deal with us. But we're not going into depth of the thing. But our advocates have made today over thousands of students are being liberated economically. They are taking free tuition. Imagine under this government and you are paying $15 for credit. What will have happened to you? A winner salary like me, I cannot job, even if I attend Cotton, but it's not on the basis because we chose to sacrifice for society. And that is what we chose. So blocking road today, you want to condemn blocking road. The essence of blocking road, the essence of talking, that kind of word, protest. You think protest are to go sit down and be drinking milk and tea? Who told you that that's the essence of protest? You brought one to call government attention that things is not favorable, and the Constitution gave us that right. You are not seeing protestation around the world. That problem is even better. You watch Kenya in recent time. You want to talk about protest? It's today that brings some of you are questioning protest. When this government came on the basis of protest, I beg you, I don't want to be too political because I'm a student leader. Let me to the next issue.
So thank you, S. Arab. My name is Emmanuel Thomas, and I got a lot of things to do, emphasize on a lot of things through your statement. Excluding protests.
Yeah.
What are some of the jargon you need to implement to
I've
draw
those years of communication? Those years, the president. I remember since I've been here, we one of the student leadership have ever done this. I don't want to be political again, but under our leadership, the best thing, that's what we break. Under the leadership of American back then, representing Sue and I as Kosa, Ezra, even right now, Jagoli, we have done the most honorable thing. We have written documents, putting the government on record, administration on record. And all of these political parties are being in the know. But as I said, all of these things have failed. Not have been achieved. And that is why the students will know when they protest. So imagine students calling for a resignation of one of the authorities of the environment on grounds that they believe that it is certain individuals that have been masterminding and doing this.
Care to disclose that to us?
Come again?
You care to disclose that to us?
To disclose what?
I mean, what you said.
About what?
Talking about students calling for a resignation of.
Are you not aware?
I mean, you care to disclose that this is something that you're saying to us so you can.
But you are aware?
No, I'm not.
You have covered it.
I'm not aware.
Freedom of coverage, you are aware.
Not
The administrator who and students have stood out against me recently calling for investigation. I don't have to call his name, but you are aware, and students are aware, and the public are aware. Students are calling for his resignation, and I said it on
that you are
this.
speaking in fear of this individual.
Why should I be afraid? He's the dean of student affairs.
Now we're talking about advocacy.
Okay, come again. He's the dean of student affairs. Since you want to challenge me, now
I just want him.
the dean of student affairs, Sekou Kone, Sekou Jabi Kone. Students are calling for his resignation, and it's the right on basis they're calling for his resignation.
So what's your
Why
stand?
am I reason?
What's your stand on that advocacy?
Why are you talking about stands?
I'm talking about stand as SRO.
What do you mean? What do you mean about stands?
What do you stand?
In terms of what?
In terms of civil resignation, in terms of the
Sekou resignation, calling for Sekou resignation, it is based on those things that you have done. Probably you are not here. Yes, brother, was here, you were there. The only thing that I question is about personal attack. If you call for an administrator to resign and the students online don't issue, you follow the president, somebody you call it on except that we fail to read. He's there. The online issues that the Mapaya is aware of all of those issues that the students online, the student political parties, the online. The only thing I've done as a student representative, as he said, as the angle of the executive, is quote unquote is being alleged that he was physically attacked. And that's what we want to condemn here. That should not be the way. You have the issue calling for that Mr. Colin's resignation is fine. We were going to the issue. Why are those issues? And we can attest to some of the issues if they are genuine. And that's why the administration needed to have called them. You say these individuals should resign. One of the basis is some individuals should resign. Then I can't confront that issue. But if you want to downplay and using state police to intimidate the community, you got to call for an administrator and resignation. Is that how you want to work? Is that the president of the Bureau, or is the executive the president of the Bureau? That's the issue we are discussing here.
The question is, do you stand with the student radical?
I just told you that the student community, political parties, have called for the resignation of Mr. Kone. And I've read all of those issues. And I disagree with the issue of personal attack. But those issues they have raised, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of some of those issues. So when it reached the point, after, because if you level an allegation against the president who investigates that such allegation is the president or the authority. So as a student representative, I will be on that board. Mr. Student Representative, such political party or political party have said this authority should leave on ground. So are you aware of some of these issues? Can you confirm to this issue that these things have been happening or these things have been orchestrated by this individual? Is it that mean I will say yes or no? But my disappointment is that because the student community has called for one of the administrators' resignation. They want to use the government to intimidate these students not to go that route to call for the resignation. And all of those things that the students are calling for the resignation probably and I'll be honest his preview as student as student affairs, you know. I mean, one financial issue, but not be honest is authority, other issue. So all the issue will be discussed. Those ones that are on the issue will tell you, oh yeah, we'll confirm it.
One of the issues is that you have been blacking student ADI. You as a former chair of PROSA.
Okay.
Have your party been affected?
We'll discuss the issue, yeah. Go ahead.
Have your party been affected in terms of blacking ADI?
Obviously, the party have been affected. I hear in person have been affected. I can say it live. I hear in person have been affected. But these are things we're not bring to the public. And some political party, when we reach in room as student leader and authority, we'll discuss those things, we'll confirm to it, we'll attest to it. Because obviously some have been affected. And so these are the issues.
Now, Mr. Sano, last day from my end. In your concluding statement, you made mention about protests for this exam. Don't you see that as a major impediment moving forward for this particular semester with the students?
So, in the public there to acknowledge the students about what is happening. No one found pleasure in protest or to see that the semester is being aborted. That get us straight. That get us straight. No one found pleasure, even the students here. But what matters here is that the way the administration will engage issues will emanate from the students. If the students say there's something they have, for instance, the students say they want chair, armchair, like I just mentioned, that we need armchair for now to the 12th of the final, because on the date in the calendar, so the 12th of May. Because we don't want our students to come and be standing up taking a final. So in our meeting today, it will be one of the demands. If we can't provide the government administration our 250,000 US we are paid. We're not telling government, we're telling government will bring money. The money that we pay, I was swear 2,550. That money must be used to bring care from now to the 12. And at 10, in the meeting, I'm not be the one to make the decision, but in the meeting, these are things will be discussed. And if they cannot give us the assurance, we will tell you what student you elected, there will be no meeting until they bring those chairs. And you must join us, that will bring the chairs, because you have paid that money for chairs to be here. And that's the only thing we want now until the semester can end. After the semester, we shall resume next semester. The debate will elevate to buses, the debate will elevate to internet facilities, the debate will elevate to infrastructure. The final statement is that comrade students, your leaders are under attack, and indirectly you are under attack. You are under attack. You listen to all of the press releases, the counter and counter comments coming from administration radicals. Today, I spoke with the two major political party chairmen. I spoke with the president before having this press conference. Today we're having a meeting, and what prompted us to come at this far and to be so brutal is from the statement, the regular statement from the government. And that is why, and we are prepared. If the government thinks that they can use that means to silence critical voices, then they are, it gave up most zest. I've been sick for the past 2 days, but when I followed the statement of the government and read that statement coming from quote-unquote administrator that they will expel students, on what basis are you expelling students? A student go and rape, student do academic fraud, student do that, you expel, we have no issue. So an attempt to expel a student on agitation, protestation, not vandalizing university property, not attacking administrators or fighting students. And you say expel students on the basis of speaking out like the way I'm speaking. You say you expel me or you expel any other student. The last place will be our grave. That's my only statement.
Thank you.